The twin moons of Vasherin hung low in the sky, shining pale silver light across the silent alien valley. Inside a lonely medical chamber, far from the cities of her people, the young alien woman named Lyra lay on a narrow bed. The cold metal floor around her reflected her still and fragile body. From her waist down, she could not move. The accident had taken her strength, her speed, and her honor at least. That was what her people believed. In Vasherin culture, weakness was seen as a deep shame. A warrior who could not stand was considered useless. A bride who could not walk beside her future husband was considered broken. And so, when Lyra became paralyzed after the shuttle crash, everything in her life collapsed. Her fiancé, once proud to choose her, canceled their bonding ceremony. Her family, terrified of being judged, sent her away to this isolation chamber in the mountains. No one visited her. No one spoke her name. No one wanted the paralyzed alien bride. Every night, Lyra stared at the ceiling with silent eyes. The medical lights hummed softly, the only sound in the empty room. She remembered the screams from the crash, the fire spreading across the shuttle floor, and the pain in her spine. But the physical pain was nothing compared to what came after: the rejection, the loneliness, the feeling that she had been erased from society. Sometimes she heard guards outside, the door whispering about her. Why is she even alive? She brings bad luck. No man would take her now. Lyra always turned her face away when she heard those words. She didn't want them to see her tears. One cold night, the wind howled across the metal walls, shaking the windows. Lyra tried to sleep, but her heart felt too heavy. She wondered if this was how her life would end, trapped, forgotten, slowly fading in a room meant for the unwanted. She closed her eyes, wishing there was one person in the galaxy who would not fear her. Weakness, just one. But wishes meant nothing on Vasherin. Hours later, in the darkness before dawn, a strange rumbling sound echoed across the mountains. The guards outside the chamber looked up in confusion. No ship was expected. The night sky split open with bright blue light as a small human spacecraft descended between the rocks. Dust and sand blasted in every direction as its engines powered down. The guards raised their weapons, confused and nervous. Humans rarely visited this planet, and they never came to lonely places like this. The ship's hatch opened with a hiss. A tall human man stepped out, wearing a long coat and carrying a heavy-looking bag. His face was lined with exhaustion, but his eyes burned with purpose. The guard stepped forward. "Halt, human," the leader said. "This facility is forbidden. Leave at once." The man didn't stop. He kept walking, his boots crunching on the frosted ground. "I am looking for someone," he said calmly. "Her name is Lyra." The guards froze. "Why?" One whispered. Why would a human come for her? The human man, Daniel Ward, a single father known across space for his stubborn courage, ignored their confusion and walked straight to the door of Lyra's chamber. He pushed it open slowly. Lyra, lying on her bed, gasped softly. She had not seen another living face for many days. And now a stranger stood before her, a human of all things. She tried to sit up, but her weak body refused. Daniel stepped closer, but not too close. He didn't want to frighten her. "Are you Lyra?" he asked gently. Her voice came out small. "Yes, but why are you here?" Daniel looked at her, really looked at her, not like the others who saw only weakness. He saw fear, pain, and exhaustion, but also a soft spark of life still burning inside her. "I came because I heard what happened to you," he said, "and because I don't believe anyone should be abandoned for being hurt." Lyra blinked, confused. You don't fear me?" Daniel shook his head. "No, I've seen many terrible things in this galaxy. A paralyzed woman is not one of them." For the first time in months, Lyra felt a small warmth in her chest. She had expected him to look at her with pity or disgust, but he looked at her like she mattered dot outside. The guards whispered in panic, "He cannot take her. She is cursed. If he leaves with her, disaster will follow." But Daniel didn't care about curses or alien traditions. He cared about saving those who had no one else. "Lyra," he said, "if you want to leave this place, I can take you. I won't force you. The choice is yours." Lyra's breath trembled. She had never been given a choice before. Not by her fiancé, not by her family, not by her people. She stared at Daniel, her voice barely a whisper. I want to leave." Daniel nodded. "Then I will help you." At that moment, for the first time in her life, Lyra realized something powerful. A human she had never met cared more for her than her own people ever did, and that was how her journey truly began. "Daniel." Ward gently lifted Lyra from the cold metal bed, supporting her as if she weighed nothing. Her thin arms trembled as she held on to him. She had not been touched with kindness in a long time, and the warmth of another living being felt strange, almost unreal. Daniel placed a soft blanket around her and carried her toward the door. Outside, the guards stepped back, shocked. "You cannot take her," the leader said. "She is rejected. She belongs here." Daniel didn't stop walking. "No one belongs in a place like this." The guards hesitated. Humans were known for being stubborn and unpredictable. And Daniel Ward was not just any human. He was a former rescue pilot who had survived battles, storms, and disasters no sane person would dare face. He met the guards' eyes, and something in his calm expression made them lower their weapons. He moved past them and carried Lyra into the cold night air. The sky was dark, the wind sharp, but Lyra breathed deeply, as if tasting freedom for the first time. Daniel opened the ship's hatch and stepped inside with her. The interior was warm and lit with soft yellow lights. A small voice suddenly called out from the hallway, "Dad?" "Who is that?" A young human girl, no older than 10, stood near the door. She had brown hair tied in a messy ponytail and large, curious eyes. She stared at Lyra with surprise, but not fear. Daniel smiled gently. "Mia, this is Lyra. She's coming with us." Mia walked closer. "Hi," she said softly. "Are you hurt?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes, I cannot move my legs." Mia's face filled with sympathy. "It's okay. My dad helps people. He'll help you too." Daniel set Lyra down on a padded seat and adjusted a safety strap to keep her comfortable. Lyra watched the small girl, feeling something inside her soften. On her own planet, children were trained to avoid the weak. They were taught to fear anything different. But this human child looked at her like she was a person, not a burden. Daniel returned to the controls. "Mia, stay with Lyra and keep her warm." "Yes, Dad," Mia said, sitting beside Lyra and holding her hand. Lyra glanced down at their hands. No alien child had ever touched her so gently. The engines began to hum. Daniel prepared the ship for takeoff. But before they could lift off, an alarm flashed on the screen. A communication signal came through Dot. It was the Vashrin authorities. "Human pilot," a cold voice said, "you have taken a rejected one. She must remain here. Return her at once." Daniel pressed a button to respond. "She asked to leave." "She has that right." "She has no rights," the voice snapped. "She is paralyzed. She is worthless." Lyra lowered her eyes, hurt by the familiar harsh words. But Daniel's voice became firm. "No one is worthless." There was a long silence on the other side. Finally, the alien voice said quietly, "If you take her, you take our shame. You take our trouble. She will bring danger to you." Daniel answered without hesitation, I will take that risk. He ended the call and lifted the ship off the ground. The engines roared as they rose above the mountain facility. Lyra watched the only home she had known disappear beneath them. She wasn't sure whether she was more afraid or relieved as they broke through the clouds. Mia kept talking softly to her. Do you like stories? The little girl asked. I can tell you one. Lyra nodded, surprised by the warmth she felt. Mia began telling a simple tale about a lost kitten who found a new family. Lyra listened, her heart relaxing for the first time in months. She felt safe. Something she had forgotten was possible. Halfway through Mia's story, a sudden alarm beeped loudly. Daniel's eyes narrowed as he checked the radar. What is it? Lyra asked, feeling her stomach tighten. 2 ships are following us, Daniel said calmly. Vashrian patrols. Lyra's breath caught. They want me back. Don't worry, Daniel said. They won't touch you. He pushed the ship into a sharp turn, speeding through the clouds. The patrol ships followed, firing small warning shots that exploded behind them. Mia gasped and grabbed Lyra's arm. Are they bad people? Mia whispered. Daniel didn't answer. He was too focused on outrunning the ships. His hands moved quickly, guiding the craft through tight air currents and glowing clouds. Lyra watched him with wide eyes. Humans were not physically stronger than Vashrins, but Daniel's bravery was something she had never seen before. The patrol ships closed in. Dad, Mia cried. They're coming. I see them, Daniel said. With a final burst of speed, he dove low, skimming the tops of the mountains. The patrol ships struggled to follow. Daniel banked sharply around a cliff, and the 2 alien ships collided with each other, exploding in a bright flash that lit up the sky. The danger passed. Mia sighed in relief. You did it. Daniel finally relaxed and turned to look at Lyra. You're safe now. Lyra's eyes filled with tears she couldn't hide. Why? Why did you risk so much for me? Daniel answered simply. Because no one else would. Those words hit Lyra harder than any injury she ever suffered. For the first time, she felt like her life mattered to someone. She had no idea what waited for her next, but something inside her whispered that her fate had changed forever. Human ship drifted quietly through the deep black of space. The stars outside the windows looked calm, but inside Lyra's heart there was a storm. She had escaped her planet, but she did not know what waited next. Daniel had saved her, but she wondered how long she could stay without causing trouble. Daniel walked back from the cockpit and knelt beside her seat. How are you feeling? Lyra took a slow breath. Different. I am safe, but I am also scared. Daniel nodded gently. That's normal. You've been through too much. We'll take it one step at a time. From the corner, Mia peeked out with a small smile. Do you want some warm soup? Dad made it. It tastes funny, but it helps. Lyra blinked. I would like that. Mia hurried off to get it. Lyra watched her go, amazed. Alien children on Vashrin were trained to obey and stay silent. But Mia spoke freely and smiled easily. Lyra wondered how such a small human could be so brave and caring. Daniel sat across from her. Mia likes you already. Lyra looked down. Why? I cannot play. I cannot walk. I am not strong. Daniel shook his head. Strength is not only in the body. Lyra didn't respond. She didn't know how to believe his words yet. Hours passed. The ship flew quietly through space. Mia sat beside Lyra, drawing pictures on a small tablet. She showed them proudly, one of Lyra, one of their ship, and one of Daniel holding a shield. Lyra smiled softly. It had been many years since something simple made her smile. But peace never lasted long in the galaxy. Sudden sharp alarm filled the ship. Beep, dash beep, dash beep. Daniel rushed back to the controls. His expression changed quickly. What is wrong? Lyra asked, Her voice shaking. Daniel tapped the screen. Someone is following us, Mia gasped. The same bad ships? No, Daniel said with a deep frown. These are different. Faster, stronger. Lyra felt her chest tighten. Who are they? Before Daniel could answer, another alarm sounded. A loud warning message appeared on the screen. Incoming transmission priority HOSDLE. Daniel clicked it open. A rough alien voice filled the ship. Human pilot, you have taken a rejected one. You will surrender her to us. Now. Lyra froze. Bounty hunters? Daniel looked at her sharply. Bounty hunters? Why would they come for you? Lyra swallowed hard. I do not know. My people called me worthless. Why would anyone want to take me? Daniel didn't like that answer. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. The enemy ship appeared outside the window, a large black vessel with glowing red wings. It was much bigger than Daniel's humble transport ship. Mia grabbed Lyra's arm, terrified. Dad, they look scary. Daniel kept his voice steady. Both of you stay calm. But Lyra could see the tension in his jaw. The bounty hunters sent one more message. Return the girl, or we destroy all of you. Daniel shut off the communication channel. I am not giving anyone to them. Lyra's eyes widened. You do not understand. They will kill you. They will kill your daughter. I should go. No, Daniel said firmly. You are not going anywhere. Before she could argue, the enemy ship opened fire. Bright blasts of energy flashed across the sky. Daniel jerked the controls, dodging the attack. The whole ship shook violently. Panels rattled. Lights flickered. Mia screamed. Dad, I'm here. Daniel shouted, fighting to keep the ship steady. Hold on. Lyra felt her heart pounding so fast she could barely breathe. She hated that she couldn't move, couldn't help, couldn't protect the little girl holding onto her arm. On her planet, warriors always fought back. But she was helpless, useless, or so she believed. Daniel spun the ship into a sharp dive, avoiding another blast. The enemy vessel followed, shooting again and again. Mia cried. They won't stop. Daniel pressed a button. A protective shield flickered around the ship, but it was weak. We can't outrun them forever, Daniel muttered. Lyra looked at him with rising fear. Why are they chasing me? I am nothing. Daniel glanced at her, and his voice softened. Don't say that. There must be a reason. He didn't say the rest out loud, but Lyra could see the truth in his eyes. Someone wanted her. Someone powerful. And they would kill anyone in their way. The chase lasted minutes that felt like hours. Daniel finally guided the ship into a dense field of floating ice crystals, using them as cover. The enemy ship slowed, scanning the field, searching. Silence filled the cabin. Mia whispered, Dad, will they find us? Daniel didn't answer immediately. He kept watching the radar. His hands were shaking slightly. We need to hide somewhere safe, he said. Somewhere they won't look. Lyra took a shaky breath. I did not want to bring danger to your family. Daniel looked at her with a steady gaze. You didn't bring danger. Someone else chose to do this. You are not the problem. Lyra wasn't sure she believed him, but his words were the first kindness she had ever known. The ship drifted deeper into the ice field. Daniel turned off the main lights and powered down the engines. The cabin grew quiet and dim. Mia crawled into Lyra's arms, trembling. Please don't go away. Lyra held her gently. I won't. For the first time in her life, she wanted to protect someone. She wanted to fight, even if she couldn't use her legs. Somewhere inside her, something warm and powerful stirred, as if her body was waking up from a long sleep. Daniel whispered, We'll get through this. But none of them knew the truth yet. Lyra's escape had started something much bigger, and her hidden power, the one her people feared, was beginning to awaken. The ice field around, Daniel's ship glowed with a cold blue light. giant frozen. Crystals floated like silent mountains, creating a maze where the ship could hide. Daniel kept the engines low and quiet, hoping the bounty hunters would lose the signal. Inside the ship, everything felt still, but Lyra's heart was not calm. Something inside her had begun to change. Her fingertips tingled softly. Her mind felt sharper, more awake than before. She heard faint echoes like whispers, but the room was silent. She shook her head, trying to push the strange feeling away. Daniel slowly returned from the cockpit and sat across from her. His face was tired, but his eyes were focused. "We need to understand why they want you," he said. "This doesn't make sense. You told me your people rejected you. So why chase you across the stars?" Lyra lowered her eyes. "I don't know. They said I was broken." Daniel shook his head. "People don't send warships for someone they call worthless." Mia sat beside Lyra and held her hand. "Maybe they are lying," she said softly. "Maybe you're special." The words made Lyra's heart jump. "Me? Special? No, I cannot even walk." Daniel leaned forward. "Lyra, have you ever had strange experiences? Before the accident?" Lyra hesitated. She remembered something, moments when objects vibrated near her, moments when she sensed emotions stronger than she should have. But she had always thought it was only her imagination. "I don't know," she whispered. "Maybe." Daniel stood and walked to a medical scanner on the wall. "Let me check something." He helped Lyra gently into the scanning bed. The machine hummed quietly as lights passed over her body, reading her energy levels, her nerves, her brain waves. Lyra closed her eyes. She felt a soft pressure in her mind, like the machine was touching something deep inside her. After a minute, Daniel stepped back, staring at the results with disbelief. Mia tugged at his sleeve. "Dad, what is it?" Daniel turned the screen so Lyra could see, and her breath caught. The scans showed a glowing pattern along her spine, faint, pulsing lines of energy. Something alive, something evolving, something her people had never told her. "Lyra," Daniel said slowly, "your body is not shutting down. It's changing." "Changing?" she whispered, terrified. "Into what?" Daniel tapped the glowing lines. "Your people have strong minds, but limited telepathic ability. But your neural energy is growing far beyond normal levels." Lyra stared at him. "Telepathy? That is a myth." "No," Daniel said gently. "It's real, and it is happening inside you." Mia's eyes grew wide. "Does that mean she can read minds?" Lyra shook her head. "I cannot do that." But as she said the words, she heard a faint voice echo softly in her mind. "I hope she's not scared." Lyra gasped. Her eyes snapped toward Mia, who wasn't speaking. Daniel saw her reaction. "Lyra, what happened?" "I heard something," she said, trembling. "A voice, but not with my ears." Mia looked amazed. "Was it me?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes," Daniel exhaled. "That explains everything." Lyra looked confused. "Explain what?" Daniel's voice grew serious. "Your people weren't ashamed of your paralysis. They were afraid of your evolution." Lyra's eyes widened. He continued, "If you developed full telepathic strength, you could see truths, control minds, or even stop wars. That kind of power threatens leaders." Lyra shook her head in disbelief. They rejected me because they feared I would become stronger than them." Daniel nodded. "Yes, the paralysis was only a temporary phase while your mind adapted. They wanted to hide you, maybe even keep you locked away forever." Lyra covered her face with her hands. "All this time, I believed I was broken." Daniel touched her shoulder gently. "You're not broken. You're evolving." The ship suddenly beeped again. The radar flashed with movement. Daniel spun toward the cockpit. "Someone's coming." Lyra's fear returned. "The bounty hunters?" Daniel checked the scanner. His voice tightened. No, this ship is too big. Much bigger. That is a Vashrin warship. Mia gasped. Her people? Why are they here? Daniel's eyes darkened. Because they want to take Lyra before her powers fully awaken. The ship trembled as a communication signal forced its way through. A deep, cold voice filled the cabin. Human pilot, you have something that belongs to us. Surrender the girl. Lyra's whole body shook. She felt the pressure in her mind again. This time stronger. Daniel responded sharply. She is a person, not property. You do not understand, the alien voice growled. If she completes her evolution, she will destroy the balance of our species. Return her, or we take her by force. Lyra felt something snap inside her. A wave of energy rippled out from her chest, invisible but powerful. The lights flickered. Mia grabbed her arm in shock. Daniel stumbled back. What was that? Mia cried. Daniel looked at Lyra in awe. Her telepathy, it's getting stronger. Lyra clutched her head. The whispers grew louder, clearer. Danger. Take her. Destroy, evolve. Voices from the alien warship were leaking into her mind. She felt their fear, their anger, their desperation. And she heard one more voice, sharp and cold. Eliminate the human if he resists. Lyra's eyes snapped open, glowing faintly. They want to kill you, she whispered. They want to hurt Mia. Daniel stood tall. They won't touch us. I won't let them. Lyra stared at him, her heart racing. Daniel wasn't her blood. He wasn't her species. But he was the only one who had ever protected her. Her people had abandoned her. This human father was ready to die for her. And in that moment, her evolution sped up. Because now she had something worth fighting for. The giant Vashrin warship floated outside the ice field like a dark shadow covering the stars. Its massive cannons glowed with dangerous red light. Inside Daniel's small ship, the atmosphere grew tight and heavy. Every breath felt like it pushed against fear. Daniel stood at the cockpit, his jaw tight. They're locking weapons on us. Mia hugged Lyra tightly. Dad, what will they do? Daniel didn't turn around. They want Lyra. They will try to take her by force. Lyra felt a shiver crawl across her skin. Her hands trembled, but the energy inside her, bright, alive, powerful, kept growing. The whispers from the enemy soldiers filled her mind. Target the human ship. Prepare the tractor beam. Do not let the girl escape. Lyra gasped and pressed her hands to her ears, even though the voices weren't coming from outside. Daniel rushed to her side. Lyra, are you okay? They're coming, she whispered. They want to destroy your ship. They think I am dangerous. They think I must be locked away forever. Daniel kneeled down, looking into her eyes. Listen to me. You don't belong to them anymore. You're not their prisoner. You're not their shame. Lyra's breath shook. But you cannot fight a warship. Daniel smiled faintly. Maybe not. But humans don't run when someone needs them. Those simple words hit her heart like light. Humans did not abandon the weak. Humans did not fear difference. Humans protected those who had no one. And this one human, the man standing in front of her, had changed her fate more than her entire species ever did. Outside, the warship's loudspeaker roared. Last warning. Human pilot, surrender the girl now. Daniel pressed the come button. His voice was steady. No. Mia's eyes filled with tears. Dad, he put an arm around her. I won't give Lyra to people who tried to destroy her. The warship fired a warning blast. It hit the ice nearby, shaking their small ship so hard that Lyra cried out. The lights flickered. Alarm panels flashed red. They're going to fire again, Daniel said. This time at us. Lyra closed her eyes. She saw flashes, soldiers shouting, a tractor beam charging, a massive cannon glowing bright. Then she felt another vision, a warm hand holding hers. A child's smile. A human voice saying, "You matter." Her heart tightened. Painfully, she would not let them hurt these two people. She would not let them die because of her. Something inside her snapped open, like a door finally unlocking. After years of being forced shut, energy rushed through her body in a wave of heat and light. The ship's panels shook. The air EUMED. Daniel stepped back. "Lyra, what's happening?" Lyra lifted her head slowly. Her eyes glowed with soft silver light. "I can feel their minds," she said. "All of them." Mia's voice trembled. "What do they want?" Lyra's voice was quiet but strong. "They want control. They fear what I could become. They fear someone like me becoming free." The warship powered up its main cannon. Daniel reached for the controls. "Hang on!" But before he could move, Lyra raised her hand. A soft, invisible wave expanded from her fingers. It spread across the room, then through the walls, then out into space. Every sound stopped. Every vibration froze. Every panel turned silent. Outside, the warship's cannon flickered and shut off. Daniel stared at his radar in disbelief. They stopped firing. Lyra's voice grew stronger. "They cannot shoot. I am inside their minds." Daniel looked at her with awe. "You're controlling them?" Lyra shook her head. "Not controlling. Showing them." She closed her eyes again. Images rushed from her mind into theirs, her pain, her loneliness, her rejection, her fear, and the moment Daniel carried her away from the isolation chamber. She showed them Mia's kindness, Daniel's bravery, the warmth she had found in a place far from home. She showed them the truth, and the truth hit the enemy harder than any weapon. The voices in her mind softened. Fear changed to confusion. Confusion changed to shame. Lyra felt tears fall from her eyes. "They see me now, not as a danger, not as a curse, but as one of them." The warship slowly began to power down. Its glowing red lights turned dim. The giant cannons folded away. The huge vessel drifted back, no longer aggressive. A final message came through the speakers, the voice trembling. "Lyra of Vashrin, we did not understand. We feared evolution. We feared change. We will not harm you." Lyra opened her eyes. The glow faded. She looked at Daniel, exhausted but smiling softly. "They are leaving." Daniel stared at her with amazement. "You saved us." Mia hugged her tightly. "You saved everyone." Lyra rested her head back and breathed deeply. For the first time in her life, she felt whole, strong, in control of her destiny. Daniel touched her shoulder. "Lyra, you know you can stay with us, right?" Lyra met his eyes. "I want to stay, if you will have me." Daniel smiled a warm, human smile full of pride. "You're family now." Family. A word Lyra had never truly known, until a human father and his brave little daughter showed her what it meant. Outside the window, the stars looked brighter. For the first time, Lyra was not rejected. She was not alone. She was not broken. She was evolved. She was wanted. She was home.